majority of the engines, the new engines today, the spark and the injection of the fuel is controlled by the computer. The computer, according with the position of the piston or position of the crankshaft and camshaft, with that information, the computer said to the injector, open the injector, spray fuel, and say to the coil, send the current to the spark plug, and the spark plug produce the spark. This is the computer, and the computer receives the signal from camshaft position sensor, crankshaft position sensor, and other sensors, throttle body and oxygen sensor. But crank and cam are the most important. This is in 4-stroke engines. Remember, in outboards we have 4-stroke engines and 2-stroke engines. In 4-stroke engines, it's exactly the same like inboard 4-strokes. Exactly the same. You need calibrate, piston number 1 in top the center, the timing of the crankshaft, the mark on the gear of the crankshaft aligned with the mark on the gear of the camshaft, and the timing chain connected between both of them. Exactly the same like inboards. For outboard 4-strokes. For that reason, the ground is critical. The ground should be good ground. What is the ground? The ground is the connection of the harness with the block of the engine, and the block of the engine properly connected with the sinks located in the lower unit, in contact with the water. Remember, my friends, in our previous classes, the ground in your boat is the sink. And that piece of sink, in this particular case, located in the lower unit, is the ground of your boat. Of course, because that piece of sink is in contact with the water and the water in contact with the salt. If the engine not produce your own power, the engine stops suddenly. In outboards, the engines produce on the flywheel with that coil, the outboard produce AC power. And that AC power after that is rectified into DC. Danny, how can you get 55 volts on the injector?
Alright, so the 55 volts comes from the stator. The stator is a two-part of the stator. So basically it's like having two stators in one. And what happens is the engine actually has a capacitor, which I'll show you. But how this works is if you come here,
that's the flywheel.
That's the flywheel. As this rotates, it generates AC current.
AC power.
AC
power, correct.
And then from the AC power, it's going to the computer, which converts it into DC by using a regulator.
The rectifier is in the computer.
Correct. And then once it does that, there's a capacitor.
When the current is rectified, enter in the capacitor.
And it's stored.
And it's stored. When the capacitor is full charged, the capacitor
discharges it and sends it to the system.
Correct.
And that's how you maintain your 55
And you
volts.
check this capacitor exactly the same like in other videos we checked?
Absolutely.
All right, the same procedure, we discharge the capacitor.
Absolutely. Same
All right,
procedure.
nice. What is the capacity? That capacitor is 50,000 microfarads. 50,000 microfarads are 50 volts.
Correct.
Okay guys, we are going to continue with the ignition system in the E-Tech engine. In the previous episode, Professor Danny explained how the injector works with the spark plug together and the position of the spark plug in relation with the position of the injector, how the fuel enters in the system, how the fuel is injected through the injectors, and now we are going to try to understand how is the ignition system.
Okay, so the ignition system works like this. You have the harness that goes from the motor to the console, which lights up your gauges and your ignition switch. And you have his main 10 amp breaker. That's the same thing like we saw on the Merc Cruiser, but it's a 10 amp. It's that one. So if this breaker is broken or bad, you're not going to get any power. Trim and till, you're not going to get anything. It'd be like almost like a dead motor.
Only 10 amps?
Only 10 amps.
It's nothing, no?
It's nothing.
For the harness?
For the whole harness, yeah, it's only 10 amps.
And the injector with the 55 volts?
With 55 volts. Now that's a different system. It still won't pop this. It'll fail. It'll give you a code and put you in safe mode. The thing is with the ignition system on this, that the engine recognizes any faults, it's going to bring your RPMs down to put you in safe mode so it won't blow it up.
Okay. All right. The first step is check the fuse.
Check the fuse.
All right.
So when you check the fuse, you got power through the fuse, then you know you have power to the system.
On the system.
Okay?
All right.
But it's important that you make sure that it's not blown.
Yeah, remove the fuse and verify the fuse.
And then you can take
and check continuity
between the two.
Perfect.
Okay? And then you also want to make sure you have power coming from one side.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So where this power comes from is from the battery cable that comes from
Correct.
the battery
and back
switch.
to the other one. Yeah.
And back to that one.
Correct.
Okay?
What is this, Danny?
This is actually what the shift actuator is. This is what shifts the engine. So if you took the bolts out and you popped it off.
Oh, wonderful. This is a solenoid.
It's a solenoid.
And look at this. This can enter.
If you look into the rod.
Enter into the rod. The top of the rod have a groove, no?
Yes, it has actually, it's an octagon. So if you look here,
enter over there. Enter over there. And this one goes up and down,
Correct.
up and down. It's a solenoid.
Solenoid. And it's dry. If you notice, there's a seal on the bottom, and this is sealed off, so no water gets into it.
No water.
And or oil.
Or not, yeah, of course. For that reason, they have a label and say, do not fill with oil.
Correct.
If not, you damage
the unit because you have the circuit board.
Oh, of course. Look at the circuit board of the unit. This is a perfect solenoid.
Yep.
And it's controlled by the computer.
And the control box.
And the shift control.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, on the system that controls all the electrical, there's two systems. You have two NEMA networks. You have a private network and a public network. The private network controls all the engine information, and the public network is basically the standard NEMA system.
The NEMA system. Right. All right. Perfect. Because this engine is fully electronic, is controlled by the computer, fuel system, lubrication system. All the systems are controlled by the computer. That calibration is controlled on the computer?
You can't control the calibration,
but
it will tell you the calibration.
Oh.
So if it's out of calibration, a code will come up and it will say something.
And you have a check engine light?
Check engine light.
When you connect the scanner, immediately you have that code related with the calibration.
Most of the time, if you've been using the boat and it's reading normal, everything's fine, and then the light comes on, you have a problem other than calibration.
Yeah. In the new engines with computer, with ECM and fully electronics, those engines adjust the timing automatically in the system, the computer. It's not mechanical. You don't need to think about the timing for wide open throttle because the computer calibrates the timing by itself. Exactly the same for outboard. How the engine inboard with the electromechanical system calibrate the time for wide open throttle and heavy loads is with counterweights located in the distributor. Those counterweights, according with the RPMs, open and close and advance or retard the timing according with a vacuum valve on the side of the distributor. That vacuum valve for timing adjustment. This is in all versions. I never mention that because every day are less popular and I create confusion for you. If the engine is mechanical with the carburetors and electromechanical injection system, you have a link. You have a link to adjust the throttle, and the bracket have a special connector in order to advance or retard this element. To advance or retard this element, the trigger timer base. And you advance or retard the trigger timer base according with this procedure. Danny, I know that the new engines, the new modern engines, electronic, they don't need adjust the timing because the computer is intelligent and adjust the timing.
Correct.
But in older engines like this, carbureted with mechanical system, the timing adjustment is important.
Absolutely.
How is the procedure to calibrate the timing here?
Well, just like we saw in the previous videos, you have to make sure that all the flaps are closed.
Correct.
Okay, and then you have a cam that goes in here. So when you advance the throttle, there's a rod that moves there, that moves this, and this is what advances your timing.
You advance over there or retard.
This is what advances the timing and retards. So at a certain RPMs, at low RPMs, it'll tell you, let's say 4 degrees, and then at wide open throttle, if you see here, it tells you 26 degrees before
26.
top to center.
This is the recommended by the manufacturer.
Manufacturer, correct.
All right.